You've obviously been hard at work, as has the whole team. What's really been the focus for this from cool new tools, but there's kind of a common theme between all of them, right?
Correct, and it's interesting. When you think of a new version of a new release, you usually think feature-wise or tool-wise. Where software companies they compete for launching more tools and making a list of what's there and so on and so forth. In our case, we want to do things differently, and with Luminar 4, it's actually um, and I've mentioned this already many times. So it's version 4 of the software itself. It's version 1 when we talk about the new vision and the new approach to how things work with Luminar and how we want users to approach photo editing in general.
Right.
So and by that I mean that customers will definitely get amazing new features as sky replacement and portrait retouching tools and AI structure and many as we roll out new versions of Luminar 4. But the main thing is how we reimagine the whole approach to making great images. Because the biggest barrier that we had when we started to work on version 4, there are dozens of millions of people around the world who take photos on a regular basis, but seldom or never edit the image because editing just seems so complex, so boring, so unenjoyable, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and even if we have good intentions, we all have folders, pictures sitting on our hard drive that our spouses are like, "Are you going to get to those vacations?" Or a client who's like, "Can I have it in an hour?
Can I have a quick look? Can I have it?" Yeah. And it's that, and it's also the fact that when you buy a software, when you get a software product to help you create a great looking image, to enhance an image, you actually you create an extra on one block because you now need to learn so many new tools and approaches and things that it just seems that we get the software and then we start using it immediately. In most cases, we spend days and months learning even small things about the software, and we feel that with Luminar 4, we literally want people to jump right in, and after 5 or 10 minutes of figuring out the user interface and understand the approach, just start experimenting with looks and styles and edits and so on and so forth. So it's almost like you skip that complex learning curve with the software, and you jump right into the creative field when you start creating and experimenting and just doing what you feel like doing.
Well, the interface was reorganized based upon how people think. First, we do the fixes to get the exposure and the color right. Then we can get creative or portraits.
Correct.
And for those that like to push buttons and want the finest controls,
you go all the way
to pro.
Yeah. That's correct. And this is something that we'll probably spend more time educating our customers about, is that Luminar is no longer, and it shouldn't be treated as another software product or another photo editor or Lightroom alternative or an alternative to something else. It's like an additional tool that you should have in your toolbox if you want to do things differently, if you want to get more creative, if you want to experiment with all sorts of your photos. I'd say it's a complement to your photographer's toolkit.
Yeah.
No matter how big your toolkit is. If your toolkit is a single piece of software, a camera, and a lens, then Luminar will work for you as a powerful light and color and creative tool, and etc., etc., etc. But if you have a lot of plugins, if you use Adobe as your ecosystem, if you have a lot of different lenses, you experiment with styles, you still need Luminar as part of your toolbox, because there are things that you can do in Luminar faster or easier, in a more efficient way, that you won't be able to do anywhere else.
Well, here's how I know it works, Alex, which is awesome, right? I work as a professional photographer as well. I do client job. I need to get my images done. I find myself using Luminar on the AI accent to enhance images, structure. All these things are great. Who also uses it? My 12-year-old daughter, who's a photography expert. And that's a good thing. We want everybody to enjoy this.
And you know what fascinates me as well? I was showing Luminar to my 8-year-old kid, and when I show him how to erase something or mask something or just get ready, he doesn't care about that. He
Yeah.
cares about the result and look and feel. He wants tools and approaches that allow him to be very creative
Yes.
and get the result um, really quick. I'll give you a very good example. My kid is very much into music. He loves all the modern DJs, and he loves GarageBand as a software, and he plays with those little online tools that allow you to click a button and get the sounds, different sounds together. And without figuring out the nature of that particular sound, he just loves the result. So that it's a little bit more complicated with Luminar because
Right.
we're using the whole lot of different algorithms and technologies under the hood. But the idea, don't bother figuring out figuring out how to build the process.
Right.
Think of a result, think of a creative, start playing with LUTs, color styles and filters and all sorts of different things, and then just spend 80% time doing some creative work and getting the look you like, instead of just doing the manual long stuff that just takes your time.
Absolutely. And that's really the benefit, is that you can get results. But I saw a couple of questions come in about some of more creative features. And so one of those that we've been featuring right now is color styles. So if this is something you guys are into, we had posted a link for some free color styles. And I want to show you how flexible these are, because really part of what it is we believe in. And this is giving you the opportunity to create. And so, Alex, this is one of my favorite styles, the ability here to just audition. And these have been completely reorganized. And the user can just go through, find something that they like.
Try maybe amount to
Yeah,
30, 40.
Yeah, we'll tone it down a little bit.
Tone
So,
down a little bit.
Yep, we had a strong look going on, but there's a subtle look. And, with just a hint of color, it gives you that color grade that you might not know how to make, or sometimes it's just about experimenting.
And I'll give you a great example. I'm a total movie buff. I love movies. And when I hear the word I just go crazy, because I love the look and feel of Hollywood movies and even some ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when someone tells me, hey, how to get that cinematic look and feel to a photo, I would never guess how to do it. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not an expert. I'd rather talk a little bit more where we are taking Luminar, because I see a lot of questions from our customers in color profiles and other things, and speed and so on and so forth.
Sure.
So it's worth mentioning those. So the very first thing is that I'd like to share is how we approaching Luminar from now on, how we will be approaching developing and building Luminar as a product.
Right.
And when we approach different ideas or tools, we think of three things basically. The first core element is whether this new feature for our customers is superpower to be more efficient or complex things faster.
Right.
This is important. So that's why we're
Can we save you time?
Correct. That's why we're introducing things like portrait retouch, structure, or AI sky replacement. This relates to giving you something that is not available in any other piece of software, and it may not make you too creative or a better artist, but it will save you time, make your workflow more efficient. That's why we have sync adjustments between different images and many others. So giving superpowers to artists and digital content creators to do complex other things faster or more efficient or easier, this is one thing. The second thing is about creativity. So we literally want to launch more unique tools that will allow artists to achieve some different looks and styles with the software. And then the third element is the software should be very fun to use. The process should be enjoyable. And this is where we come. And fun to use, it's not just about the interface. It's definitely about the piece as well. And with Luminar 4, our goal for November was to launch the product and make the performance better than version 3, more advanced.
Right.
But at the same time, we all understand that next quarter and early 2020 is the time when we'll put all our efforts towards performance, speeding up the export, the import, the work in the software on different machines, different platforms, and so forth. These months we were working on the first months we were focusing on the features themselves, because we wanted to make AI in AI structure or AI sky replacement work stellar. So it's about these superpowers and creativity. And now once we launch the product and get into the and get the product into the hands of. We'll do more related to performance, and almost every month there will be a new update for both Mac and Windows customers related to different speed improvements, optimizations, and so on and so forth.
It's not just about new features as well. We added new file format support. I know you're happy. I'm happy that we got CR3 support out with this release. And like that, we know that features and tools are used, but we also know that file formats and speed and city is important.
And we are working on it. It just we with Luminar 4, we've really wanted to give photographers, our customers, future customers, something that they can benefit from. I clearly need to have a CR3 support or a much faster export. But this is, let's be frank, this is not something that will excite you and blow your mind and make you a happier artist. This is something that that should be there, and we are working, and we'll deliver it as soon as possible.
Very few people order the dinner for the broccoli on the plate. Eat the broccoli.
Correct. This is, or the silverware or plates or whatever. And we really, this is the reason why I'm excited about Luminar 4 and the future developments is that we now really understand how to structure the team, our global team, in a way where we launch new exciting features and make artists happy in terms of creative possibilities, but at the same time, there's a dedicated focus just on the customer retention and the user experience inside the software that relates to new formats and speed and sorts of little things that may not be visible to the vast majority of customers, but make a lot of sense even the minority of the customers. So it's something that we are very confident that we'll catch up on in terms of the performance that's coming.